April 2023, and I'm on a bus, travelling at speed across the Austrian border and through Swiss customs without even stopping. Yet I'm not actually entering Switzerland. Instead, I'm heading into its much richer, much more exclusive, and even more mountainous neighbour, Liechtenstein. At just 24 kilometres north to south and just 160 square kilometres in size, Liechtenstein is the 6th smallest nation in the world and the 4th smallest in Europe. The country is sandwiched between Austria to the east with the high alpine peaks forming a natural border, and Switzerland to the west with the Rhine acting as a natural border there. Whilst the country is a fully independent nation-state, being a member of the United Nations and the Council of Europe, it is in a customs and monetary union with Switzerland and has no army, meaning the currency is the Swiss franc and the border with Austria is overseen by Swiss customs guards. The capital, and home to the Parliament and Prince of Liechtenstein, is Vaduz, though the largest settlement is the town of Scharn, some 3 kilometres to the north. The first mention of Vaduz is around the 12th century, with a castle being mentioned in documents from 1322. The castle was sacked by the Swiss in 1499 during the Swabian War, where they also destroyed the rest of the city. In the 17th century, the Liechtenstein family were looking for a way to gain power and get a seat at the table of the Holy Roman Empire, and so over a number of years acquired pockets of lands and titles, including the lordship of Schellenberg and the countship of Vaduz. These were eventually merged to create the Fürstentum, or Principality. On 23rd of January 1719, the then Holy Roman Emperor Charles VI recognised the combined lands as a single state and allowed it to be named after the family, creating the country as it is today. Just to show how much this was about politics, the Liechtenstein family wouldn't actually set foot inside their principality for over 120 years. Today, Vaduz Castle is home to the Prince of Liechtenstein, and it sits high on a hill above the city centre, looking down directly on the modern Parliament buildings and the Cathedral. Given the size of the country, it's unsurprising that the centre of Vaduz is very compact, with most of the area pedestrianised, except for the regular city train tours that run through the main street on their way past the principal sites for lower parts of the city. At the southern end of the main street is the political and social heart of the country, with the 2008 built Landtag Parliament building sitting next to the former Parliament buildings dating from the early 20th century, which now just house government departments rather than the Parliament. Slightly further south is the Cathedral of St. Florent. Although the building was originally built as a church in 1874 and remained as such until the Archdiocese of Vaduz was created by Pope John Paul II in 1997, separating Liechtenstein away from the Swiss Diocese of Chur, at which point the church got an upgrade to the country's cathedral. Next to the Parliament lies the Liechtensteinisches Landesmuseum, the national museum for the country, tracing the story of the lands of the nation from prehistory through to the modern day, with history written into the main building itself, as it dates from 1438, some 280 years before the country was founded. The main buildings and modern extension, which all form part of the Parliament complex, houses several floors of exhibitions, with a modern building housing both temporary displays as well as the permanent collections on the natural history and geology of the country. One of the most interesting displays is the topographical map of the whole of the country, giving a better idea of how the majority of the small population is squeezed into the narrow strip of relatively flat land down by the river, surrounded by alpine peaks. There's also the standard collection of taxidermised fauna showing the animals that call this alpine region home. The older building looks at the history and culture of Liechtenstein. Given the size of the country, you're never too far from an international frontier, and perhaps one of the most picturesque is located in Vaduz, the point where an historic wooden bridge crosses the Rhine River, the Alte Rheinbrücke, Vaduz-Sevelin. Now just used for pedestrian and bike traffic, the bridge is the last surviving wooden bridge that crosses the Alpine Rhine. The bridge crosses between Vaduz on the Liechtenstein side and Sevelin on the Swiss bank. The first bridge was built here between 1870 and 1871, though with changes to the Rhine embankments, the bridge had to be lifted multiple times, including twice in 1874 and once each in 1875 and 1886. Eventually, the bridge was replaced with the current structure in 1901, though this bridge itself had to be raised again following flood damage in 1927. The bridge was in use by all traffic right up until 1975, when a new concrete bridge was opened 200 metres to the south, and all motorised traffic was diverted onto that bridge. At the centre point of the bridge, there are markers to show the point where the two countries meet. Next time, I take a series of journeys from Vaduz, exploring more of the country, from the ruins of castles in the north to the very intact Burg Gutenberg in the south. I take a bus ride up to the highest settlement in Mulbern and take a walk high above the Rhine Valley back into Vaduz.